So about those fairy dragons you wanted to deep dive on, we had a good laugh about this one in the planning meeting.
Yeah, not exactly a trove of ancient scrolls on that topic.
Right. But see, that's where things get interesting because we found something way cooler while digging around.
Oh, way cooler. Like hypnotically experiencing your own fairy dragon cooler.
Okay, hold on. Hypno what now? You're gonna have to back up and explain this one.
So we found this hypnotist, Brian David Phillips. And this guy's legit, by the way, not just some backyard hack. He does these huge workshops, writes books, the whole shebang.
Okay, so we're talking like professional mind meld stuff here. But what's that got to do with, mythical pocket dragons?
See, that's the thing. He's got this whole technique where he doesn't just make you think about a fairy dragon, you actually experience it. Like full-on sensory immersion.
Wait, seriously? How's that even possible?
Hypnotic suggestion, my friend. It's all about tapping into the subconscious, bypassing that pesky critical thinking part of your brain.
Okay, you're losing me a bit. Hypno jargon, not my forte. Break it down for us simple folk.
Basically, think of your mind like an iceberg, right? The conscious part, the stuff you're thinking about right now, that's just the tippy top.
Right, got it. Just the tip.
Exactly. The subconscious, that's the massive chump hiding underwater. And that, my friend, is where the real magic happens.
So this Phillips guy, he's basically sneaking past the mental bouncer and planting the fairy dragon idea straight into the subconscious mind.
You got it. Sneaky, right? But here's the kicker. He didn't even plan it.
Wait, what?
Yeah, turns out the guy's got a background in improv comedy, so this whole fairy dragon thing, it was totally spontaneous, just repping one day and bam, hypnotic breakthrough.
So we went from ancient lore to improv comedy hypnosis. Deep dives are always an adventure.
Tell me about it.
But I gotta ask, fairy dragons. Seems a bit, it's childish for serious hypnosis, no.
Fair point.
Hmm.
Even Phillips admits the language is super playful, almost childlike, but here's the thing, it totally works. Even on adults.
Now that's just mind-boggling. Are we all just harboring secret fairy dragon fantasies from childhood?
Maybe, maybe not. But think about it. Kids, they live in their imaginations, right? That line between real and pretend, it's blurry.
True, very true. They fully commit to the bit.
Exactly, and that's what this technique taps into, that state of pure, unadulterated play, where the subconscious is wide open to suggestion, like a direct line to the imagination.
Okay, so we're tapping into childhood wonder, accessing the subconscious. But it's still a fairy dragon. I can already hear the eye rolls from the skeptics out there.
And that's the beauty of it. It's not a one-size-fits-all thing. The article mentioned Phillips tweaking it for, like, fairy cats and stuff, even encourages folks to let their subconscious pick the creature.
So if someone's not feeling the whole whimsical vibe, they can swap out the fairy dragon for something a little more, shall we say, badass.
100%. He's worked with some self-proclaimed tough guys who weren't exactly stoked about the whole fairy thing. But the core principle, the power of suggestion, it still applies.
Fascinating. So we're talking about personalizing the experience, letting the subconscious take the wheel. But it still begs the question, why go through all this trouble for a dragon, fairy, or otherwise? What's the bigger picture here?
It's like, it's not really about the dragon. You know, the dragon's cool and all, but it's more about, think of it like a magic trick, but for your mind.
So the fairy dragon is like the flashy distraction, and the real reveal is the power of our own minds.
There you go. We're so used to thinking about our minds in this limited way, but when you really tap into it, like really access that subconscious level, the possibilities are huge, E.
It's kind of like, what's those things called? Those optical illusions, where you see one image and then your brain just flips it and you see something completely different.
Yes, perfect example. And the thing is, this whole idea of using suggestion to influence the mind, it's not new, right? We've seen it for ages. Stage magic, hypnotism, all that stuff.
Wait, are you saying people are using fairy dragons in therapy now? Because I got to hear more about that.
Well, not fairy dragons specifically, but the article mentioned that Phillips has gotten letters and stuff from actual hypnotherapists who've used this technique. With good results, too. Apparently, some people, years later, they're like, yep, still got my dragon. Wild, right?
That is wild. So we started with, like, a fun thought experiment, and now we're talking about long-term therapeutic benefits.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? Like, what else are we capable of if we could just unlock that potential that's already inside us?
That is a big question. And I gotta say, this deep dive took a turn for the profound. Who knew fairy dragons would lead to such deep thoughts about the human mind?
And we're not even done yet. We still have those bonus nuggets to get to, remember?
Oh, right. Every deep dive, there are always these little side paths that turn out to be just as fascinating as the main route. And this one, trust me, does not disappoint. Okay, so remember that Victorian short story we mentioned? The one that kind of sparked this whole fairy dragon thing?
Oh, yeah. The Magic Egg, right,
Like,
by Frank Stockton, I think.
that's the one. And get this, Phillips, he actually offers a free download of the story on his website.
Smart cookie. Got to get that marketing in there.
Right. Although you do have to sign up for like a free membership thing. But hey, free story. Can't complain.
No complaints here. Though I do find it interesting, in the story, it's not a dragon that hatches from the magic egg. It's a phoenix.
Oh, wow. From Firebird to Tiny Dragon Sidekick.
Yeah.
Evolution of an idea right there. Speaking of unusual ideas, you ready for this next one? It's, it involves fairies and strippers.
You can't just drop that and not elaborate.
Okay, so full disclosure, we don't have all the details. It was more of a passing mention, probably meant as a joke. But apparently Phillips has also messed around with a, shall we say, fairy stripper variation on his technique.
Okay. That's certainly a choice.
Right. I mean, hey, to each their own subconscious desires, am I right?
I suppose, though I'm not sure every thought needs to be explored in such detail.
Probably for the best. But hey, you got to admire the guy's commitment to pushing boundaries. Plus, he does sign off his website with live long and prosper, but like the trance version, maybe memorable. Totally.
Definitely memorable. But I think this whole deep dive has been pretty memorable, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. Who knew we'd go from fairy dragons to like the deepest levels of the human mind?
Right. And the best part is, this is really just the beginning.
Exactly. Because we've talked a lot about the how today, the techniques, the possibilities, but the real magic happens when you, dear listener, take this and run with it. Think about it. What would your magical familiar be? What creature, what symbol speaks to that untapped potential inside you?
And don't hold back. Dragon, phoenix, talking houseplant, the possibilities are endless.
Because ultimately, this isn't about fairy tales or magic tricks. It's about recognizing the incredible power within each of us. That power to imagine, to create, to become. And who knows, maybe all it takes is that one spark of curiosity, that one question, to unlock a whole new world of possibility. So keep exploring, keep questioning, and never, ever underestimate the power of your own imagination. Until next time, folks.
Breathe deep, close your eyes, and surrender to the cards. Let the rhythm of the symbols take you far. In the dance of the arcana, see your story start to bloom. Every flip, every turn, it's like magic in the room. Tarot trance, feel the vibe, let your spirit take a ride.